It is your boy T with another Have You Seen That with T movie review, and today I'm going to do a very straightforward movie review of Monkey Man. But before I jump into that, I really want to just say I don't consider myself to be a film critic. I'm just a person who really loves movies. I love to go see movies. So while there are a lot of other critics who will discuss technical aspects of movies, I don't really jump into that because I don't know enough about the craft to really break down why someone did a poor editing job in certain situations. And I just notice a lot of other people are very technical when it comes to their reviews of movies. I know what looks good on screen. I know what looks poor on screen. And I know when I watch films, when I watch movies, I know a certain feeling that I want to have coming into a movie, certain feelings that I want to have leaving movies. And of course, all movies are different, right? The way I go into a comedy is not going to be the same way I go into a horror film, for instance. And with that being said, I really wanted to just get out here and praise Monkey Man. I want to praise Dev Patel for having the courage to put out a film. Directing a movie is not an easy task, but at the same time, showing passion and getting a film made. Of course, the background drama surrounding this movie is almost legendary. It almost supersedes the movie at this point. But then after seeing the movie, it just makes sense. He said he ran out of money at some points, was filming the movie on his iPhone, and it kind of showed because on a $10 million budget, he stretched that as much as he possibly can. And you can tell looking at the movie, it's not a huge, big budget Hollywood blockbuster, but at the same time, he did so much with what he had, and I feel like he spent a lot of the budget on the stunts because there are some great action sequences in this film, particularly the final fight scene. It kind of was Kill Bill-esque, and it just worked very well. After watching the trailer, I went into the film thinking I was going to get a straightforward action movie, and everyone kept comparing it to John Wick, that John Wick style action. And as I was watching the film, John Wick was the furthest thing from my mind because it had nothing in common with that movie. The only thing it had in common with the movie was, just like in the trailers, you see somebody in a suit fighting people in suits. I think that's where the comparisons end. Of course, it was great action, but like John Wick to me is on a completely other level, and those budgets show that. The director of the John Wick series is a stuntman by trade, and he's like a 10th degree black belt in like 4 or 5 different forms of martial arts. So he came with a different set of skills that Dev Patel did. But what Dev Patel lacked in skills, he made up with in just sheer passion and wanting this project to succeed. Now, once again, going into the film, like I said, I thought it was going to be a straightforward action film, and it turned to be more of a political thriller than anything. There were a lot of political overtones, and I am not knowledgeable about the Indian political turmoil, the religious overtones in this movie as well. There are definitely parts of the movie that are not going to be for everyone. You go into this movie, you always have to go into these movies with an open mind. I am not from India, nor do I want to assume that I know anything about Indian politics or Indian religion. So I took the movie's word for it, right? And it went out there and it just was entertaining. It was engaging. I was engaged in the story because I believed in Dev Patel's kid character. That's where the movie really works, is Dev Patel just gives everything to this character. He brings this intensity. He brings this fierceness to the character where it's just unrelenting. His determination to get revenge for these atrocities that were committed against his people, against his family. And it just showed. Like, it was just a very intense thrill ride. And then when it got to the action, it got to the action. I really enjoyed this film. Is it perfect? No. Did it have too many flashback scenes? Yes. It felt like every other scene, there was a flashback scene. I felt like that was done perhaps to draw out the runtime, which I don't think it needed. The movie clocked in just over 2 hours. That to me was the only down. Of course, if you are highly political and you are from India, then you probably didn't like the highly political overtones of the movie. If you are a religious person from the country of India and you practice either Hinduism or you're a Muslim, then you might not have liked the religious overtones in the movie. And there's an other huge kind of shadow over the film. If you are a transphobe person, you're probably not going to enjoy this movie. There is a trans presence in this movie, a transgender presence in this movie, which I don't think detracts from the movie. I think it adds to the movie. It adds the humanity of the character, because a lot of it is just so revenge filled, where you just kind of get drawn away from the character because he doesn't seem like a real human. He just seems like a revenge robot that's just out to kill. But I think the inclusion of those characters bring a lot of humanity, or his humanity out, and the humanity of the character out, which I think really lends to the positives in this movie. You could just tell this was a passion project, and I would take that any day over a $200 million blockbuster that has no heart behind it. I would take this any day over Madam Web, that was seemingly written by AI and just put out there to quote unquote make money. Whereas Dev Patel seemed to have put his heart and soul into this movie and his body into this movie in order to, one, get it made, and hopefully it's successful. I really hope that this movie goes on to be successful, because I'm all about the arts. I'm all about creative people having something in their mind and then getting it made and pushing it out to the masses. And hopefully that cultivates more creativity within the community, within, you as a person. Hopefully there's a young 21, 22-year-old person who goes into the theater and sees Dev Patel, who is a Hollywood star in his own right, but he sees that he had a vision and he made it happen. And hopefully that sprinkling of creativity goes to that next person, and then they in turn have that story that's just kind of kicking in the back of their head, and they go out there and get that movie made, and they put their passion into the movies. And of course, this is not an original idea. Revenge flick is not new. This is not new business. But at the same time, just the difference in location, the difference in the nationality, the ethnicity of the characters is something fresh that we haven't truly seen. Unless you're a big Bollywood fan, when you watch a lot of movies that come from India, which I particularly don't. Not to say that they're bad movies, it's just not something I'm really into, and I don't really go out of my way to look for those movies. But this movie was a wide release in the States, and I was really intrigued by the trailer. And I was so relieved when I wasn't let down by the trailer. The trailer just showed us the bare bones of the movie, and then once you get into it, you see all of the heart and soul of what Dev Patel did in order to get this movie made. It really showed to me. It wasn't a technical masterpiece. It wasn't the greatest movie I've ever seen, but it was a passion project, and I saw his passion as I watched the movie, and I really, really commended that, and I really enjoyed the movie in all sincerity. I had a great time with this movie. It was very intense. The fight scenes felt like they meant something. Every fight felt like it meant something. And he wasn't a superhuman character. He wasn't a superhero. He was just a person who wanted to right a wrong, and he did it with everything he had until he didn't have any more. It really resonated with me. I really had a great time at the theater watching this movie. I was on the edge of my seat because there were parts where you just didn't think he was going to win because he was outnumbered, overmatched, and he just had that will to survive. To me, this movie is a breath of fresh air for Hollywood after we've gotten so many wooden, cardboard cutout films that just have no soul, have no life. And then you get somebody who goes out there and just puts it out on the line, not only behind the camera, but in front of the camera, and trains, and he gets better, and he puts it all out there and just gives us a really good film. Monkey Man, I can't recommend it enough. If you love action movies, you are going to love Monkey Man. If you are a highly political person, which I feel like everybody is these days, then maybe you won't like Monkey Man as much as I did, because I put all of my personal beliefs to the side when I go to the movies, because it's not my life. It's not real life. It's a movie, right? You go there to kind of get away from reality. And that's what I did. I went there and I got away from reality, and I saw somebody's vision on the screen, and I had a great time with it. So have you seen Monkey Man? What did you think of it? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you think I'm overselling this? If you have, go ahead and drop down in the comments. Let me know what you thought of Monkey Man. And definitely, please like and subscribe to the Have You Seen That with T YouTube channel. I'm so close to getting 100 subscribers. Definitely something I'm working towards. And hopefully from there, we'll get to 200, 300, 400, and so on and so forth. But definitely check out Monkey Man. Check out all of the Have You Seen That with T YouTube content. And I'm also on Letterboxd at Have You Seen That, where I've, ranking the movies I've watched this year as I watch them. And until next time, I'll catch you later.